Well, it's time to get racing now for the elite men's races. They lined up for the second leg of the still 2015 South African Mountain Bike Cross Country Cup Series at the Voortrekker Monument in Tshwane. All the riders trying to keep as cool as possible. It's extremely warm out there. They will be doing 6 laps in total around this demanding circuit.
What's in store for the riders today?
Quite a tough course. The design philosophy for the course was we focus on the flow of the course, the technical demand of the course and the physical demand of the course. Lots of flow, but very hard.
We've got a fairly large international field coming through for this event today. How would this course compare to what they would be used to up in Europe?
We have a complete natural track, wildspoor and footpaths. That differs. In Europe you normally run man-built tracks. So we've added some obstacles right at the end of the track. We call it the obstacle farm.
And just having a look at the number of entries in all the categories today, cross country definitely growing
in leaps and bounds. We're fortunate in the sense that we can be part of the growing of the sport. And if I look at the entries, the number of entries, it's definitely one of the biggest races of the series that we've had in quite a number of years.
Can we push you for any predictions on the elite field? I know a lot of the guys having just come off high endurance events like the Absa Cape Epic. What do you think is going to happen in that elite race?
That's so difficult to tell. I'm not going to put my money on anyone. I'm not going to make any predictions. You know, if you have 100 riders in a race, you will eventually have 100 reasons why they haven't performed at their best. So even though some of them would say that they have the epic still in their legs, they're going to do everything and they have to do to be first over the finish line.
Absolutely, as I say, it's always tough. You just go faster.
All the cream of the crop of South Africa's cross-country races were in attendance. Rob Cruiser in picture there, standing alongside James Reed from Team RCM. Also in this field was Philip Bass, the Olympian. He won the first leg in Port Elizabeth from Brendan Davids. Matthijs Beek is his teammates from the Scott Factory Racing also here. Gert Heinz looking all composed and ready to race out there. While they get their last bit of rehydration going before they head out on this great course that's been set out. Great jump gaps, some flowing single track sections, lots of climbing rock gardens as well. Anything to test these great riders. There's Philip Bass in picture right now. He's ready to race. It's tense, nervous moments for the riders. And the junior men just lining up behind their senior counterparts. And we're off. The elite men's race over 6 laps at the bottom of Voortrekker Monument. And as you can see, it's a large group, one of the biggest fields at the Cross Country Cup Series. And just one big cloud of dust as they get led out there by James Reed. The start is so important in an event like this. If you get out in front, you're able to maintain that and pick your own line. This is the junior race with an international flavored feel to it. You also see the world champion in attendance here, wearing that rainbow jersey, and that is Simon Anderson, who's come out here to show his wear and if he's able to pick up another famous victory. Most of these riders all chasing UCI points, and UCI points up for grabs as well in the elite race, obviously in trying to qualify for the 2016 Olympic Games. And right from the start, it's Simon Anderson that shows his wear, and he's out of there. Also some more Danish riders riding alongside them. Back in the elite men's field, James Reed taking the more difficult line. Most of these elite riders will take that line. It is the faster route. One drop off. We saw in the women's race, they were taking the easier line around the left-hand side of that big rock. Still coming through riders from USN, the cargo team riders. No Emil Lindgren in this race. He broken his collarbone, or elbow in fact, in a crash at the Absa Cape Epic. So the Swede national champion was not in attendance at this race. Now look at this. This is Philip Bass Our series leader is right at the back of the field. He suffered a mechanical problem off the start line, breaking a chain, but is fighting his way back as we see the junior world champion Simon Anderson going off that drop, looking very comfortable and very composed as he's setting his dominance in the junior race. Matthew Lombardi also going through in shot there, number 207, all the way from the Western Cape. Number of riders taking that B line option. Back to the front of the elite men's race, James Reed is in the lead. In second place is Shlomi Haimi from Israel. He's looking very good and composed in that position right now. And this is the rest of the field coming through. Raw Cruiser in 7th spot. Matthijs Bierkes from Team Scott Factory Racing sitting further back in the field. He's not too concerned though. This race is fairly long. And here comes the series leader, Philip Bass. Still reading from the mechanical problem he had, but he's fighting his way through the group. Matthew Lombardi just passing some of the slow markers there. Great move from him around the outside into that single trail. And here we go. The crowd waiting in anticipation for this great drop-off section here. Raw Cruiser showing his way through there. No problem at all. And that is Gert Haynes going through and shot there. The Danish contingent. Great crowds. Shlomi Haimi going through also for Israel. And the crowd is really loving this. It's action galore. There goes the world champion junior, Simon Anderson, taking a different line completely, but there are 3 options to go through there. As we look at James Reed coming down the hill now, followed by Raw Cruiser. Very close in attendance there. These are 2 leaders out in the front of the elite men's race. Third place is Sebastian Kosten Finney, followed by Gert Haynes. Matthijs Bierkes going through. Number 12, Brendan Davids. He finished in 2nd place in the Port Elizabeth leg. Number 18, Niels Rasmussen. Our Danish contingent really showing their way. Shlomi Haimi. He had a good start to the lap, but has found himself back in the field right now. And here comes Philip Bass, still fighting his way back. And after that broken chain on the start line, he's almost back in there. And here comes the junior world champion, Simon Anderson. And he's already caught most of the elite men's field, just showing you how good he is. James Reed once again out in front. Number 3 in his board was looking very good as he was trying to open up a gap. And it looks like he's just dropped Raw Cruiser now. Raw coming through in shots, and Raw's being caught now by Sebastian Carstensen Finney. Gert Haynes in 4th place. And look, there's a bit of a problem for one of the back markers. Shlomi Haimi going through there in his hardtail. Some of these riders choosing between hardtail and softtail. And here comes Philip Bass. Isn't he doing a fantastic job in trying to chase these guys down, just showing you how good he is. Simon Anderson, no problems at all for this young rising star of mountain biking. Picking their way through the rock gardens and rocky sections on this descent. There's only a few lines through this section. If you get it wrong, good possibility you'd land over the handlebars. We spoke about getting a good start. As you can see, it gets a log jam there if you're further back. Over the gap jump. Isn't this great viewing? And that gap jump is about 1.5 meters, 2 meters almost through the rock garden. Matthijs Bierkes just picking his line through there at the back. Brandon Davids. Yes, Philip Bass. Look at this man go through the rock garden, picking his line very carefully. He's carving his way through the field. A problem here for one of the Novus OMX riders. Looks like his chain may have just dropped off as Simon Anderson goes past him. Further back in the field, William Magopo feeding the pressure. Here comes our race leader once more, James Reed. In 2nd place now, this is Gert Haynes. He's been caught by Matthijs Bierkes. Brendan Davids right at the back there in 5th spot. And here comes Philip Bass once more. He's got determination written all over his face. Alan Hatley from Cargo going through there. Now this rock garden may not look too difficult, but it is something to negotiate as one of the riders puts his foot down there. He knows how difficult it is. Number 18, Niels Rasmussen. And Here comes the junior world champion once more, Simon Anderson, leading from the front in the junior men's race, as he's caught quite a few riders in the elite men's race. James Reed was looking very composed. Gert Haynes, followed by the likes of Matthijs Bierkes. Brendan Davids there in 5th place. Once again through the rock gardens with the Voortrekker monuments in the background. The crowd is really loving this. And here comes the series leader, Philip Bass. He's setting lap time after lap time just outside the 16-minute mark after that dreadful opening lap of 17:06 when he broke his chain. Fixed that very quickly. He was back on it once more. Problem here for one of our Namibian contingent, having to carry his bicycle all the way down the hill to the tech zone. Junior men's race. At number 209 is Frank Pelzer. The junior men's race was heating up with Tristan de Lange, Julian Jessup, Reiner Zellhuber, as well as Matthew Lombardi fighting it out for 2nd to 5th place. And a big crash there, 1 moment of misconcentration and you're down on your face. Let's hope this young rider is back up on his feet once more. But embarrassed, I guess. Meanwhile, number 909 having to do running repairs on a front wheel puncture. He gets out that CO2 cartridge bomb, pumps up his front wheel, and hopes that it holds all the way to the finishing line. Once again, at the top section here, there are 3 lines to choose from. Line A, Line B, and Line C. Lots of the riders using Line B. As we look back on the elite men's race now, Gert Haynes coming through, followed by Matthijs Bierkes and Sebastian Kostensen-Finney. The Dane rider, number 33, Philip Bass, still clocking in at just over 16 minutes per lap, and he's moving up the field now, up to 5th place. And it looks like we're going to crash here from Kyle Bradford, who's gone down. He's just going to have to compose himself, get back onto their bicycle, and head through once more. Number 39, Aaron Adler going through. Some of the junior riders also in their race. Talking about the juniors, Simon Anderson is making this course his own. He's passed most of the elite field and is right up there after they started quite a few minutes behind the elite field. The Danish contingent now feeling the heat on an extremely warm day in Pretoria. Great to see the crowds out here supporting an international field and one of great caliber, especially with a world champion in the rankings as well. James Reed still out in front, doing great lap times out there. His first 2 laps, 15:55, 16:09, and his 3rd lap, 16:11. There goes Karsten Finney, followed by Matthijs Bierkes. They were dicing it out now for 2nd and 3rd. Philip Bass was closing in that battle. Simon Anderson was right up there, mixing it with the elite riders as he headed past Brendan Davids. Just an amazing rider he is. Further back in the fields, number 21, Anders Bergoy. Now this course is littered with climbs, plenty of climbing for every lap, and it's single trail up there with loose rocky surface, so the riders really having to fight hard to stay on their bicycles and to keep the traction up, obviously. As you can see, some of those guys really suffering out there through the single flowing track here. Number 232, Reino Bierkes going through in shot. 209 is Franco Pelzer again. And there's our race leader. He's starting to get caught by the chase pack. Those are our top 4. Here's Niels Rasmussen. Jan Witte also in the action, trying to pass some of the back markers. Calling it out, and these back markers kindly enough just moving to the left-hand side and letting young Witte through. There goes Philip Bass once more. He's really closing in that gap for 2nd place. Number 220, Jan-Louis de Sousa. Number 23 going through now is Dylan Rebello, one of the great young stars from Team Jeep. James Reed going through now, through the drop again. And look at this. This is Matthijs Bierkes has moved into 2nd place. Looks like there may have been a problem there for Sebastian Kostensen-Finney, the Dane that was racing alongside him. Gert Haynes still in the thick of the action. And here comes Philip Bass. So 3 Scott Factory Racing riders in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. Number 204 was Marco Jobert, showing the scars of an earlier crash. Well, the junior men's race was over 4 laps, and it was Simon Anderson that was leading the way. In the elite men's race over 6 laps, it was James Reed that was still on the front for Team RCM, looking very comfortable there, but breathing down his neck now was Matthijs Bierkes from the Scott Factory Racing team. Gert Haynes feeling the pressure and suffering slightly as he was losing a bit of ground on our 2 leaders out in front. His teammate, though, was closing in, and that was Philip Bass. Look at him go. He's really motoring on the circuit. The Israeli contingent coming through. Shalomi Hami, number 6. He was in 7th place. Number 21 was Anders Bergnoy. The field was spread all over the show as riders were taking big shots out on the route, some of them suffering so much and having technical problems that they would come running across the line. Our 2 race leaders come across the line now, and James Reed has been caught by Matthijs Bierkes, and Bierkes is on the attack right around James Reed. In the 3rd place now was Philip Bass. Gert Haynes losing ground. In 4th place, Roel Cruiser was further down the field and taking a big shots out on the course there. Shalomi Hami, the Israeli contingent, going through. And there we go, our race leader now, number 2, and that is Matthijs Bierkes. James Reed feeling the pressure of his earlier effort. Jan Witter coming across the line, pain written all over his face. This is his backyard. He loves training out in the Pretoria region. Look at this man. He's also local to Pretoria. And Philip Bass showing his true class after his early mishap, breaking a chain. Number 33 is Sebastian Carstensen Finney. Brendan Davids going through. So we're on to the final lap of racing the elite men's race, and this is our race leader, Matthijs Bierkes, is coming through shot now, racing towards victory. He's opened up a substantial gap on our second man, James Reed. James Reed caught on that final lap as they crossed the line, and already there's a minute between the 2 of them. 3rd place is Philip Bass, and just behind him is his Scott Factory Racing teammate, Gert Haynes. Hami is in 7th place overall. Good ride from the Israeli rider. And the crowd were all waiting in anticipation for our race leader to come towards the finishing line. 6 laps of racing almost completed. And now it's just the turn of Matthijs Bierkes to come down that climb and take the accolades. Meanwhile, Jan Witter was heading down for a very good finish for him in 11th place. Congestion out on the course. Willem Magopo going through there. He would eventually finish in 13th place on the day for Team Cargo. Now we're waiting for our race leader to come towards the finishing line. The crowd is waiting for him, and here he comes. It's Matthijs Bierkes who takes the victory, the 2nd leg of this fantastic series at Voortrekker Monument. 2nd place belongs to James Reed, a minute further back. After leading most of the race, he loses out on the final lap. And 3rd belongs to Philip Bass, who remains the series champion after winning in Port Elizabeth. He takes a 3rd place in Pretoria. Let's hear from our various winners and podium place riders on the day.
First time out to South Africa, Simon?
No, it's the 2nd time I've been here, so I have tried it before.
And what were you expecting of the racing today?
I was expecting it would be very hot and very tough because the course is very hard and rough.
So the somewhat cool overcast conditions probably played in your favour?
I think it was very warm out there, but it was okay.
Nevertheless, a definitive win for you today. At some point you were lapping 2 seconds slower than the elite men. How does this bode for your preparation and racing for the rest of the season?
It's nice to know it. I was also fast in the elite field, but I was feeling pretty good out there, so it was very nice.
And this, of course, the end of the South African summer season, but moving into the European summer. This is the start of your season. How are you feeling about your form?
It's pretty nice to test out the form before the first races in Europe, so I'm feeling very ready to start the season there.
So Philip, 3rd place today in the XCO event here, had a very, very tough start.
Actually I had a good start the first 5 meters and then snapped my chain. And yeah, our mechanic crew were right on it, and I think after the chain snap I lost about 3 minutes, and then I had to work my way through the field, and luckily got up to 3rd.
So there are a lot of people in mountain biking saying that racing endurance events like Cape Epic is very poor preparation for cross-country events like this, where the efforts are short, sharp and very high intensity. You seem to be proving that wrong.
Yeah, Epic was sort of, it was a big goal, but we used it as a build-up to the rest of the year. Our focus is still the cross-country, and we've got Olympic Games coming up next year. And the Cape Epic has those Olympic points, so that's very important. We had to cash in on that, and it seems like the legs are still there, and from here on we're just going to get them faster and faster.
Racing for Team RCM, tough day out on the course today, James.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a case of getting hunted at the end there, and I kind of ran out of steam and wasn't feeling so great from midway in, and a small crash kind of upset the rhythm. And when Matthijs kind of saw me, obviously he got more motivated, and he's coming off some great shape at the Epic and hunted me down, and I didn't really have a response at the end. From my side, I'm kind of happy. I got back from California on Tuesday this week and haven't really been feeling like myself this week, so to come away with second and the UCI points attached with it, it's a long-term game. It's not about every single weekend, and I'm looking forward to next weekend in Maritzburg and feeling a bit better there.
Probably didn't go exactly as you wanted to, you say, but second place nevertheless.
Yeah, I mean, it's never nice to come second, and especially to lead for 3/4 of the race or 5/6 of the race. But kudos to Matthijs and Philip. They're really raising the bar in there, and the level of professionalism and the growth in numbers at races like this is really incredible. You just have to stand on the start line, look behind you, look in front of you, and it's really exciting to see. And I think cross country, especially evident by the number of international riders in the field, is coming a long way, and I think it bodes well for the future.
Following for most of the race, 5 laps in second place, and made a decisive move right at the start of the 6th lap.
Yeah, coming from Epic, I knew I should take the first lap a bit easier and stay out of the red. So I took it easy and lost about 30 seconds on James. And from there, just slowly wound it up and closed the gap.
So what was the thinking? Were you planning to make the move at the end of the second last lap, or was that just how it happened?
I could see from the previous half lap I was with him, I could see he was struggling a bit, and I knew once I should make it as hard as possible until we get to the climb, and from there I should get a gap and just maintain it.
Right, and your views on the track here at the Voortrekker Monument?
Coming from Epic, it seems like a flattish track, but really good fun, a lot of single track, and it's one of those tracks where you just get into a groove, and it's actually a cool feeling if you get it right like that.
Well, let's take you to the podium presentation in the junior men's race. Simon Anderson, your world champion, taking the victory in 1 hour, 4 minutes and 23 seconds, almost 4.5 minutes ahead of Tristan de Lange, with Julian Jessup in 3rd place. Well, in the elite men's race, it was a great day of racing for the Scott Factory Racing team, with Matthijs Beerkes taking the victory ahead of James Reed from Team RCM, Philip Bass in 3rd place, Gert Haynes in 4th, Brendan Davids rounding out the top 5.